Hi guys, beginning of September and it's that time. Going to service the rocket stove. Winter's on its way, so it'll be time to start burning soon. A couple of little things I want to do. There's a little issue with the entrance to the riser tube. There's some metal I put around that which has been eaten away over the last 12 months. Just some sacrificial strips I put in. And I need to take the bottom of the flue off as well, and I suspect there's probably a bit of ash build up in the bottom of the flue, so I'm going to take that out, probably take the top off as well and clean around inside the stove, and I'm probably going to reline the firebox as well. It's the top off.
You're not going to open the door, I'm going to put the letter box. Okay, so please further the notices relating to the outstanding rent. Alright, thank you very much. Thank you.
Always getting asked about my riser tube, and it looks pretty good. Looks perfect actually.
I just had a conversation with the great door.
The usual light ash settled around inside. I think it was 12 months when I last took this top off.
I'll wait and see if we get any reaction. So, don't worry, it may be that he will say, right, here's a lump of...
But not to offer any money.
So like, typically that's what it looks like inside with the ashes.
Children are inconsolable and completely terrified by the aggressive language of a man constantly pressing the buzzer and shouting through the letterbox about evicting them from their home. What on earth are you thinking?
So I've just lifted off the firebox. I forgot to film that bit, but it was only undoing 4 bolts. It looks okay actually. The back of the firebox looks fine, and the rope, or that heat-proof rope seal that you put round, that's pretty much deteriorated, so that'll need replacing. And the entrance to the riser, which is just there, this was a sacrificial piece of sort of metal that I put around here just to extend that in towards the firebox. Well, I suspected that had been chewed away, and it has. It's just that metal always deteriorates in these things, so what I'm going to do is cut that off and put a new piece on. The trouble with this stove was always this big panel on the front. As the stove heated up, this panel would bow, and then it would pull in, and then it would leave an air gap between the back of the stove and this. So I kind of made this little tunnel up just to which stiffened it up greatly, you know, and it stopped this panel bending, but no. So yeah, so that's deteriorated, so I'm going to cut that off and put a new piece on. I may put some thicker stainless steel on, which might last a bit longer, but who knows. And give it all a good clean out now. Take the firebox outside, give it a good clean out, and get rid of the old fire brick that are in there, the lining, which is like falling apart. So that's all the old fire brick stuff stripped out. This really was just stuff I had lying around, and the remnants of forge linings that I just cobbled together and cemented it all in. And it's done a really good job of protecting the inside of this rocket stove. You can see from the back that there's no deterioration in it whatsoever from when I built it, aside from a bit of surface rust. The sacrificial fire grate I put in, I made it out of rebar, is fine. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. The inside of the stove is just perfect. There's been no damage at all to the lining with that sacrificial lining inside, so the steel is still as good as the day I put it in. What I'm going to do is reline this, and I'll have to get an order in for some new fire rope gasket. So that's the stove pulled out, and that is the extent of the soot and debris that was in the flue and in the kind of little transfer box that's at the back of the stove. Nothing really very much at all. A good handful came out the bottom of the flue. and probably a couple of handfuls came out the bottom of the stove, but that's 3 years of rubbish that's just built up there, and it certainly wasn't enough to prevent the stove from functioning at all. All the pathways, all the airways, everything was clear for the gases and fumes to escape, so I'm quite happy with that. So as you can see, the the stove itself is perfectly good, nothing wrong whatsoever with the body. I just wanted to get it outside and hose it down because I hate that very fine thick carbon dusty rubbish that hangs around in stoves, and I just wanted to clean it all out because I'm going to re-gasket everything. I've hosed it all out, I've cleaned everything down. There wasn't really too much ashing that's built up over the last 12 months. There was, oh, you know, maybe 2 scooped handfuls like that of very fine talky ash inside. So there's the riser tube. The main body of the riser is fine. It's still intact. It's still solid. It's slightly crumbly, if anything. But and I can't remember how long ago I built this. It was, what was it? It was either 3 or 4 years, something like that. And back then I had no idea how long this would last up, even if it would last, you know, even if it would take the first firing. But it's been absolutely great. Now when I came to take this out, I probably wasn't as careful as I should have been, and I just tried to wrench it and it actually broke off. That's the entrance there. It actually just broke off on the bottom. I'm not really bothered. As I say, I should be a bit fed up, but because I'm going to make a new riser tube now. But what I've wanted to do since I built my that last cast iron stove was to make a bigger riser tube. So this is really the perfect opportunity now to build another riser tube, and just see if I can improve the performance of this stove anything. I think I can. So I'm going to get some castable refractory ordered, get some perlite, and we'll make a new riser. So a quick walk round. You see there's no deterioration inside at all. Perfectly good. Yeah, perfectly good. Just that little entrance thing there. One thing that I have been pleased with on this stove are these like air exchangers where the air can get in at the bottom and drag heat out the belly of the stove. I'm seriously thinking of adding some more onto the sides of this, and possibly some on the back as well. And I can maybe keep them closer to the side so there's just enough room to get the new riser tube in. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. There's the old firebox cleaned out. It's perfectly fine. Another video series, I reckon. And we'll refurb this rocket stove. As I say, over the years since I built it, it's just been an absolutely awesome stove. I have no complaints with it whatsoever. Nothing whatsoever. I'm just going to try and boost the performance a little, boost the draw. So that is it. Let's rebuild or remake a rocket stove. So I'll be back, fellas, with another little series on this. I'll just probably do a couple of videos on it, and we'll make another riser tube and refurb this.